Good morning. It's Saturday. I just woke up. I haven't even had my coffee yet, but I thought I would check in. This weekend is going to be an entirely comfy at home weekend. A lot of working on the Christmas projects that I need to get done, and honestly, a lot of editing the video that I filmed yesterday. It's probably what I'm going to do most of today. On Saturday, my husband still works, but I get to stay home with our puppies, and I'm going to try to catch up because I didn't quite make my 7 rows last night. I ended up getting like 5.5 rows yesterday, and the day before I hit 6 rows too. So I'm not gonna push myself. I'm not gonna tell me that I have to get 10 rows to catch up. But I'm definitely gonna try to get my 7 in today, and then if I can do an extra 3, I'll feel a lot better about it. But I'm not gonna rush. I also didn't even finish picking up those stitches last night before dinner. I got halfway around the neckline. Turns out it's a lot of stitches to pick up. I didn't have enough time. I brought it with me just in case I had to wait for him at work or something, but he was ready and I never had to wait, so I never did anymore. So I still have to finish picking up the neckline on that and get that going. I'm hoping to get to all that today, but honestly, editing the video I did yesterday is probably going to take most of the day, and I don't want to be unrealistic. So my goals for the day are to edit that video and get it uploaded for the first day of Vlogmas, and to try to get caught up on the temperature blanket. But first, let's get a cup of coffee and maybe open day 2 of the Advent. All right. So I will admit I was a little underwhelmed yesterday. I think it kind of caught me off guard that the first day of the calendar was hot cocoa. I don't have an issue with hot cocoa, but it just seems like a very slow start. I kind of wanted a harder hitting day 1. It doesn't matter. I love hot chocolate. I'm ready for day 2, and I'm excited for it to get yarny, because maybe that's what was really underwhelming me about it, is that it wasn't like a yarny thing. My dogs are all over me here. They want some attention. Okay, day 2. Oh my god, is this a full skein for day 2? This is what I meant for day 1, man. It says day 2, and it feels like a full skein. I made the mistake when my dog Olive, she's a big girl, she's a Staffy mix, she's 60 pounds. I made the mistake last Christmas, I think, or the one before. She's only had 2 Christmases with us, so one or both, of wrapping her presents, because I thought it would be cute for her to open her presents. Now she gets interested when anybody opens presents. So that was foolish, but it is really fun to watch her open her presents. Okay. Oh, it's just, oh, that's kind of cool. I understand from reading the description online. Actually, I don't know if it said on here. It did not. And no, well, I don't know. It didn't say on here. Oh. Okay, I guess I didn't fully read this yesterday. Day 1 was also the pattern. I didn't really read it and recognize that day 1, the gift is actually the pattern, and you're supposed to look at the pattern and open that up on your phone. Okay, I take it back. That's not underwhelming. I just didn't read it, and I kind of didn't notice this top half of the card. So day 1 was actually the pattern that you can use if you want to. My understanding is that if you're making the cowl, this Advent comes with enough yarn to make the cowl. And it's by Mary P. Hunt, so it's like a color work cowl, which Yarnicious does a lot of. I know that she works a lot with Pacific Knit Company, who does the doodle cowls, which is great. They're also beautiful. I've bought a couple Mary P. Hunt dinosaur sweater patterns and worked on those in the past, and I have to say, I just, as much as I love her patterns, I just don't love color work. So I don't think I'm going to partake in this. I'm going to save the yarn for something else, but that makes sense. So this, like, it is a bit tonal. It's not like completely undyed. And I do see like a speck of pink on here. The colorway they've called is a Brictosaurus. It's like a tonal off-white. And I believe that if you're making the cowl, this would be the main color, and that they also gave you the option up front to like order a sweater quantity of the main color so that you could make your advent into the sweater version of this pattern. I'm not going to do that, but still, this is really fun. This is squishy and getting me into the spirit of the advent calendar finally, now that I understand day one. And these are all on her Bronto DK base, which is 8515 superwash nylon. Yay! This is coming together. I really like it. I see now that the hot chocolate was the extra and not the gift yesterday. And I'm actually gonna like plug this code in and see what the pattern looks like. So I'm gonna start out by editing the video. But the first step to editing is getting the footage I've taken into my computer, because since I film on my phone, all of my clips and everything that I record ends up being uploaded to the cloud, and then I have to download it on my computer before I can edit, which usually takes a while. And I did have not a ton of filming yesterday. It's not going to take forever. Like when I did those big long videos for Rhinebeck, it took forever because they're really long single pieces of media. This is a bunch of smaller pieces, so it shouldn't be that bad. But the first step is to download them. So I probably won't even have time for like a full row, because a row on this blanket takes so long. But like I can get some work done. It won't be nothing, right? Like I do like to keep a knitting project next to me when I edit videos, because there ends up being some downtime. There always ends up being these little moments where the computer needs some space to work on what it's working on. And that means I have some space to work on my knitting. So I always keep it near me. I'm going to get comfy here with my dogs. I'm going to get those downloading and probably work on this for a few minutes while it does. Okay, well that took like 3.5 hours. It's lunchtime, but I'm done editing. Hopefully they don't, I mean, like, this is why I can't do one every single day, because I don't have 3.5 hours to edit a video every day. But I can manage one every 3 or 4 days. So that's the Vlogmas plan. But day one is edited. I still have to export it and upload it, and that all takes a long time. But I can watch YouTube while I do it. I'll work on the blanket. So the work is over, and there's some clerical stuff to get done before it's uploaded and available to you all. But I'm gonna eat my lunch, work on the blanket, turn on other people's Vlogmases, and start enjoying the season. And I mean, I hope you've already seen the first episode and enjoyed it by the time you get to this one. If you did, I'm like so glad you're back. Thank you. If you're not subscribed, please do, because I'd love to have you here for the rest of the year, not just the holiday season. And, you know, for right now, let's just enjoy a cozy Saturday home with my dogs, hit the YouTube, and put work behind us for the week, right? time to feed my puppies, and I just wanted to show you because they get so adorably excited. After 6 o'clock, I am happy to say that I completed 8 rows on the temperature blanket. So I've done the minimum for today, and I might try to do a couple more before I switch over to the sweater. I'm not sure. I do want to get ahead on the sweater because we didn't have plans for tomorrow, but now we actually decided to meet a friend for brunch, but it's a bit of a drive to where they are. So I'm gonna have car knitting tomorrow, which means I have to either wind the yarn for my snowfall sweater or get going on picking up stitches on the Uno sweater. Or actually it's a snowfall scarf, it's not a snowfall sweater. I'm hungry, my brain isn't working. Wind yarn for the snowfall scarf or pick up all the stitches to get ready for the Uno sweater. And I think I'm gonna try to do the sweater because like we talked about yesterday, the deadline for that is first. So I'm getting ready to make dinner. My husband should be home in like an hour-ish, and we haven't really gone grocery shopping since Thanksgiving. We've been working on the Thanksgiving leftovers and kind of what was in the fridge, and we had so many visits with family where we went out to eat in the last week that we haven't had to cook much. And we kind of don't have that much left, but we do have a bunch of uncooked produce left over from Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna do an old standby for us, which is just roasted vegetables, whatever you have, and homemade rice-a-roni. It's not name brand rice-a-roni. Actually, we're vegetarian and rice-a-roni has dehydrated chicken in it. So we never use rice-a-roni, but I found this recipe online years ago it's like part pasta, part rice, and you kind of like cook them in butter before you add broth, and it's better than rice-a-roni, and I highly recommend it. So I'm making that for dinner tonight, and I gotta just prep the vegetables and get them roasting so they'll be done on time. I ended up going a bit rogue and I found half a bag of fresh cranberries in the fridge. So I kind of roasted those too. So we're gonna eat our dinner. My husband should be home any second now. And then I have now completed 9 rows on my blanket. I don't know how much more I'll do tonight, but I guess I will tell you about it when I see you in the morning. Good morning. It's Sunday now, December 3rd. We're getting ready to go to brunch with a friend, and I kind of slept in a little bit, and so I haven't done any knitting this morning. I haven't had a cup of coffee. I haven't done anything but get dressed and get ready to leave. We're leaving in a few minutes. I guess my husband has an appointment along the way that he snuck in. He invited me to brunch before he told me about the appointment. But I wanted to update you on what I got done last night after I stopped vlogging. I did stop at 9 rows on the blanket, which I'm pleased with. That makes up for the 2 that I missed on Friday. And the reason I stopped is because I get really fatigued with the Tunisian crochet. I can't do it forever, which is kind of why I've limited myself to 7 rows at a time. I mean, truly, it's why I wanted to finish before September and like actually do it over the course of the year, because I know I don't like to do it every single day for extended periods of time, and that's what I'm stuck doing now. But I really can't do more than like 12 max rows in a day, and usually I start getting fatigued after like 8, so I kind of just stop if I start to feel muscle fatigue. Like I explained before, the last day of every month is a purl row, Tunisian purl stitch, because that is kind of the like delineation between the months, and it's a pain to do. I don't like to do Tunisian purl stitch. It's so difficult to finagle, and it was late last night and I had already done 9 rows and I was like, you know what? I don't wanna. So I didn't. I did finish picking up the stitches for the neck on the Uno sweater, and start going on that. There's two options for necklines on that. You can do just a regular like ribbed crew neck or do a fold over neckline, and I think the fold over looks nicer. It's got caveats about how much yarn it might use in the pattern, but I think I have more than enough based on how much, I mean, like I'm not through the second of 4 skeins after the whole oversized body and most of the neck. Like this yarn will get me through the neckline for sure, and probably into one of the sleeves. So I don't think I have a risk of running out of yarn. I'm basically 60% done with the sweater, and I haven't gone through half the yarn. I'm gonna do the fold over neckline. I think it's gonna look really nice. It looks good so far. I posted like a tiny picture of it on Instagram last night, and then as I was doing it, I was like, this is a gift and they're gonna see it, but they won't think of it. They won't realize. It's like a tiny snippet. It's not like the whole garment. It's just like the stitch markers, and this new project bag with the Christmas lights in the background just looks so aesthetic, and I couldn't help myself. So getting ready to hit the road now. I'm gonna bring the Uno sweater. I'll bring a couple notions in case I get to the end of the neckline and I want to sew it down, but I don't think that, I don't know. It's a bit of a drive. Maybe I'll bring the snowfall sweater scarf too. I never wound more yarn for that yet. I might have put myself in a whip pickle, but we'll see what happens. Time to go. So brunch took all day. I mean, we had to drive to Rochester we didn't have to drive. We chose to drive to Rochester to meet a friend for lunch. It's 4:30 now. We left this morning at like 10:30, so it's been a long time. I got a lot of knitting done. I nearly finished the neck on the Uno sweater. I did finish it, and I bound it off. I haven't cut the yarn. I actually forgot to bring snips, but I bound it off with Jenny's stretchy bind off because it's going to be folded down. And I'm going to sew that in this evening before I switch over to the temperature blanket, probably for the rest of the night. I definitely actually have to wind more yarn for this. All the wool I have left is this. I was a couple miles away from home when I finished this in the car, so I did switch over to the snowfall scarf, and all the yarn I have left in here is this. So I definitely need to wind yarn for both of these tonight, or I won't have anything to work on tomorrow. But first, before we wind the yarn, let's open my advents, because I never did that yet. It occurred to me after I stopped rolling that I said advents like plural, but I'm only doing this one right now. This one doesn't start until a couple weeks. But let's do day 3 of my single Floral Soars advent calendar. I realized for the first couple of days I was saying Floral Saurus, because that's how I read it, but then when I actually had to type it out myself later, I realized it's just Floral Soars, which is similar, but not the exact nomenclature. All right, so I think this is probably our first mini, because that's what it feels like. Day 3. Very pretty neutral. Oh, it's like cherry mocha. This like very pink, pretty tonal brown, which is kind of the theme for the whole thing. It's like warm neutrals. I'm very excited about the palette of this advent, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. All right, let's go upstairs to the yarn room and wind some yarn. I'm going to warn you now, it's messy. That's just one of those things that I've had to slack off on in the meantime while I'm working on other stuff, and there's just a lot of stuff accrued in there. But it's not too messy to wind a couple balls of yarn to keep moving. This is unfortunately the state of my craft room right now. Most of it is either, this is like stuff I've acquired recently that I'm needing to work with or deal with. This is stuff I inherited from my grandmother's that's been stuffed in a closet for years that I'm not sure what to do with, but I cleaned out the closets recently and I was like, this can't keep taking up the guest room closet. So Probably going to deal with all this in January, not going to lie. But for now, these are the 2 for the Uno sweater. And I think I'll just do 2 more right now of these for the snowfall sweaters. I'm not sure how well it showed up in the time lapse, but I had issues with this skein breaking. It broke twice. Both were towards the end, so I just have these little leftover bits. But all 4 are wound up. This is everything I have left for the quantity I bought for the Uno sweater. And this is not everything I bought. I bought 8 skeins of this off-white, I guess it's undyed, yarn for the snowfall sweater scarf, and this is 3 and 4. And honestly, I'm about halfway through the scarf. I might break into a 5th, but it's not going to take all 8. So, I mean, I guess that's nice. It's not bad to have like leftover undyed sport weight. Definitely something I can use for that. But all right, let's go work on the Uno sweater and then switch over to the temperature blanket for the rest of the night. I feel like I've been working on this forever, for literally ever. I've done half of a row. These Tunisian pearl rows are so hard. Yeah, I swear it took me like over an hour just to do the forward pass because I can't focus on it and I keep getting distracted and I don't like it. But at least I'm doing the return pass now, and then I can move on to a texture that moves a little faster. We ordered some dessert. We ordered ice cream to be delivered because we just had leftovers for dinner. And I think that's going to wrap up for today. I'm going to eat my ice cream and try to do more on this. I don't know if I'll hit 7 today because it's already 7 o'clock and I don't know if that's feasible. But I'll just keep going until bed. See you tomorrow. So today has been a very quiet morning so far. My husband's already left for work. I've been working from home all morning in my corner of the dining room where I set up my laptop. I'm taking a break. It's been a couple hours, so I thought we could open the Advent and then answer some questions because I did get a bunch of questions like I asked for on the first video. So let's open day 4. My heart. Woo! What's this pretty golden color? Or is it like golden wheat color, I guess? Hold it up next to the others. So, eek, here it is with yesterday and with the main skein. Oh, I love these. I'm so excited to find something to do with these. Now, I'm gonna pull up the list of questions actually on my work computer because I'm on my phone. You're on my phone. Hi. So I just realized I'm still wearing my reading glasses. So since you're on my phone, I can't read them on my phone. I'll pull them up on my computer and then we can talk about some of your questions. First of all, thank you for all of the bazillion recommendations of other Vlogmases to watch. A lot of the ones that have been popping up, I'm also watching. When I listed them in the first episode, it was literally just the 2 people on my feed that uploaded day 0. And so by the time you all were watching it, there was like a million more that I was already watching too, but it's so fun to see that. And I've been sampling others too. I've been sampling new ones that I've never seen before. Vlogmas is such a good time to get to know creators, right? It's a little more intimate and personal than our regular content is, so it's a fun time to try to find new people to follow, I think. So I try not to wear my glasses when I'm filming anymore because they can get really reflective, but I can read. I'm fine. Beth Liebman asked, what is your job? So I work in property management. I'm not a building manager, but my company owns and manages a bunch of residential buildings. So I work at our headquarters and I'm kind of a resource for the building managers and for the people that work at the company for lease compliance and making sure people pay their rent or they're not breaking their lease and that kind of stuff. So a couple people, Sheila W and Jet V, both asked me who made the yellow, I pointed at it because it's here, but you can't see it, the yellow project bag that I bought on day 1. I don't know. It actually doesn't have any branding on it. When you asked me the other day, I did message Nitty Gritty Yarns. So I'm hoping they'll get back to me at some point. But I messaged them after hours and I don't think they've been open since, because they're not open on Sundays and I don't think they open until later today. So we might have an answer about where that bag came from later, but I'm not sure as of right now. Mac of all trades asked, what kind of knitting needles do you use? She said, I think it's a boring question. It's not a boring question. I love talking about what knitting needles I use because I feel like I'm unusual about it. I love vintage nylon needles. I have a big selection of them. I do have an interchangeable set from Knitter's Pride that I do like, but I'm weirdly sensitive to auditory stuff. I really don't like noise, especially repetitive noise. And I find that nylon needles are so quiet. Let me grab this project just to show you. So they're plastic, right? They're just these old, you see them at every vintage store, they do click if you do this. But when you're actually knitting with them, they're relatively much more quiet than metal, certainly than metal, but also than wood. I use wood needles if I have to. I have a large collection of vintage metal needles, but I really prefer not to use them. If I don't have a size I need except for metal, I'll use it. But I just have a weird sensory thing with the metal on metal, just there's a little texture of that I don't know. I don't like it. So I use them if I have to, and I'm not gonna die if I'm not miserable the whole time I'm doing it, but I much prefer the nylon needles. They're all fixed. That's the other thing about them. They don't make interchangeable nylons. They're all fixed ones. So I have a huge collection of them because they're not indestructible. Even wear and tear can kind of wear them down and use them up. But also I have a history of my dogs damaging them. So I'm constantly trying to acquire more at a reasonable price, because usually if you find them at a thrift store or something, they're $1 a pair. And she also asked, what part of the country do you live in? I live in Syracuse, New York. I'm from upstate New York, and I've always lived either in the southern tier or central Finger Lakes region of New York. Right now we're in Syracuse. Jules E asked, is it Jules S-E or Jules E? Jules E? I don't know. Let me know. Why did you start your channel and was it hard? That's a really good question. I have always loved YouTube and watching YouTube as kind of my primary source of entertainment. I don't want to date myself here, but I got really into YouTube very early in the era of people can do this for a living. So seeing a lot of early YouTubers early professional YouTubers is what I mean, was really inspiring to me. And I've always been fascinated by the idea. And I think for most of my life, I just thought, I don't really have an angle. I don't really have anything that I want to share about myself. It would be really cool to have a YouTube channel, but like what I'm doing is boring, right? And then in the last few years, as I got more and more into fiber crafts and started following more and more knitters on YouTube, I kind of thought, like, I do want to do this. I want to share what I'm knitting, because honestly, I don't have anybody in my life on a day-to-day basis that I can talk to about what I'm making and how much I like what I'm doing, and like choosing yarns and different, like, just talk through it, right? Like it's nice to have a friend to be able to talk through this stuff with and to share in this with. And I didn't have that. I kind of had the idea in my mind for a long time that I'm going to start a knitting channel someday, but I was putting it off. It's really hard to take the plunge. Like, I think if you don't do YouTube, imagine sitting down and just like talking at a camera when nobody's in there. It feels weird in the beginning. And if you do YouTube already, you know how weird it is, right? But you get used to it because you realize after uploading a couple videos and getting a little traction that there are people on the other side of it. Like, there is somebody that I'm speaking to right now. We're just separated by a little bit of time. So like, I know you're all there. I can see the comments that you left me last time, and I know you're going to see this time. So I know who I'm talking to, but it can be awkward. So that was a big impediment to me. The thing that I always had in my mind, I guess, was that I know when I redo my craft room, I want to make a video out of that, because that would be good content, right? People are interested in that, and that's something that's fun to document, like with a before and after. And to this day, my very first two videos, which were redoing my craft room and sorting through my yarn stash, are my most successful videos ever. So I'm glad I did it, because those two videos enabled me to build the channel that I have so far, and to be able to connect with all the people that I have and continue doing this, which is wonderful. I'm so glad that it happened that way. But it really came to a point where I was like, for my personal life in my home, I really need to fix up this room. I really need to clean up this craft room and get it sorted out. And I've been saving that project to make a video about it, so I've just got to do it. So I kind of pushed myself. That was the catalyst that pushed me to make my first video and learn how to edit videos. And like, that was really, really starting from scratch with that one. I'm so glad I did. I think it worked out so far, and I'm happy to be doing this and building this viewership, because it's really much more enjoyable than I thought it would be. I'm not gonna lie. Yarncraft by Nicole asked, what are some of your favorite Christmas traditions, and do the pets get advents? No, the pets don't get advents. We buy them Christmas presents that we give them sometime in December. We usually don't wait until like actual Christmas. Usually the puppy just gets the most, because she is so playful and like engages the most, and like, yeah. The others are less engaged. They're all older, so they don't care as much. We give them gifts. We don't do advents. They're the dogs. I shouldn't say both of the dogs. The one older dog is like a resource guarder. So doing a daily like giving of food or he like doesn't appreciate toys, so he wouldn't like that. But like giving food every day would cause tension and conflict between our dogs. So not really an option for us. We've not done that. I did want to get the puppy she's 2 years old. I call her the puppy because she's younger than the rest, but I did want to get her that, was it Costco had a cool like bark advent calendar, but we're not Costco members. We don't have a Costco here. And what are some of your favorite Christmas traditions? Personally, I think my favorite part is decorating. Like, I always decorate my house the weekend after Halloween. Like, I put it up early because I like to enjoy it for a good long time before Christmas. And I love having it around and just like having a steady stream of crummy Christmas movies on TV the entire 2 months leading up to the holiday. But like, when it comes down to it, it's more of having like a fixed time that I know I'm gonna see my family, because everything is so iffy. Everybody changes their plans so much these days. It's like, we know we're all gonna be home on Christmas Day, and like having that time together and having our set routine on Christmas Day where we know we can all just chill is really the best part about it. Daydreaming Knitter asked, have you ever knitted, crocheted, or sewed anything for your pets? I've definitely made them like a bed. I don't know. Okay, so I made one dog bed once that I meant for the smaller dogs to use, but like the big dog immediately took it, which was kind of funny. And then I've made several blankets that I didn't intend for them, but that kind of just turned into dog blankets because they loved them. Raven Woods requested to meet my pets formally because I always show glimpses of them, but I've never introduced you all. So I guess that will be my last question for today. I will take you around and introduce you to my 4 animals, and then I have to go back to work because my break is over. Alrighty. This is Tubby. He's our oldest boy. We're not sure exactly how old he is, but we adopted him in 2013 and he was already a grown-up. So he's our sweet old man. And he's quite a bit of a Velcro dog. He always lays on this bed in the dining room when I'm working because he likes to be near me. Out here we have Olive, who is guarding the house for us apparently. Yeah, she's the puppy. She's 2 years old, but she's huge compared to everybody else. And she's our sweetie pie. Okay. So this is our guest room, but it's really Annie's room because Annie sleeps in here all day, every day. This is Annie Banani. Both of our cats were adopted quite a while ago. They were both born in October of 2012. So they're 11 years old. Yeah, I know, old girl. And Miss Audrey is hiding under the bed. See if we can't get her to come out. Yeah, there she comes. Good girl drama. So I'm on another break. This is what I do. I have like a toxic productivity mentality, and like I can't not like do little chores when I work from home. So in between tasks, when I need a little break, like I change loads of laundry, I wash dishes, and I just kind of like try to get housework done. But we do have some pears that have been sitting around for a while that are probably going to go bad, and I'm going to make a cake. I love to have little informal cakes. This is my favorite cookbook, truly, Snacking Cakes by Yassi Arefi. This is such a good cookbook. They're largely informal cakes. There's not frosting, they're not decorated. They're just like think coffee cake, but in like 1,000 flavors. And I'm a dessert person. Like I love to have something sweet after a meal or for breakfast. So I love to have little cakes in the house, and so does my husband. So today, I think I'm going to try to make this buttery brown sugar pear and cranberry cake. It looks really good. We definitely still have frozen cranberries. We've got our fresh pears, and I have all the ingredients. So I'm going to whip that together and put it in the oven before I go back to work. So I'm taking my lunch break. Earlier I did get my personal computer going, downloading all of the video files from Saturday and Sunday because that takes so long. So I got those ready, and then now that I'm on my lunch break, I'm able to just jump into editing the video. So I just ate some leftovers for lunch, more of that rice-a-roni stuff because I made way too much on Saturday. And I'm gonna spend my lunch hour getting a head start on this editing. So even though the day's not over, my work day is over, I'm gonna have a piece of that cake I made, make a little cafe au lait, and have a little after work snack and finish editing this video. I'm cutting the video off here, not quite at the end of day 4 because I'd like to finish editing it and put it out for you to watch today. So thanks for spending another 3 Vlogmas days with me. I hope you're enjoying all of the Vlogmases you're watching. Like and subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying mine, and I can't wait to see you in the next installment.